Hello from Topeka. I'm Marley Carpenter, your KSCPA lobbyist. The 2024 legislative session kicked off on Monday, but was quickly stalled by a winter storm that canceled most committees on Tuesdays. Committees did receive reports from agency head and settled into a rhythm of the legislative session later in the week. Before the legislature could officially gavel in on Monday, Governor Laura Kelly held a press conference announcing her $1 billion tax plan as an alternative to the Republican leadership's single income tax rate tax plan that she vetoed last year. Standing beside her were several Republican and one independent senators that were the swing vote that prevented the Senate from overriding the veto of the legislator's tax bill. Any hopes of getting a veto-proof majority, specifically in the Senate, were greatly diminished on Monday. However, the House and Senate Tax Committee leaders did not waste any time and called a conference committee on Thursday afternoon to start assembling a tax package to send to Governor Kelly early in the session. Discussions have arisen around the single tax rate that was proposed. Last year, in last year's bill, the tax rate was a single rate of 5.15%. This year, they are looking at a 5.25% single tax rate. They're also looking at additional non-controversial income tax provisions that were bundled in last year's tax plan. The Senate Budget Committee had a joint meeting the day after the governor's State of the State address. There are minimal base spending increases included in the budget, and they focus on debt reduction and structural ending balances that aim to provide meaningful and sustainable tax relief for Kansans. Specific investment in key priorities from the governor include expanding Medicaid while keeping the state general fund revenue neutral, water preservation, early childhood care, and education, and fully funding special education this session. Republican leadership have already stated that Medicaid expansion is a non-starter, but many of the other items are legislative priorities for them as well. Budget legislators will also discuss the economic development funding, housing, as well as mental health care issues as well. The governor's budget proposal is only a starting point for the budget process. The legislators will take up her budget, review each agency's request, and come up with their own proposal by the end of the session. The SALT bill is an issue that the KSCPAs have weighed in on in the past. The clarification to the state and local tax bill that was passed in 2022 was vetoed in a major tax package at the end of last session. We do not anticipate that the SALT clarification will be included in the broad-based tax reform bill that is being currently discussed in the tax committee, but will be included in a separate bill closer to the end of the session. Legislators are off on Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and on Tuesday, legislative committees will begin hearing bills and update on key issues. The House and Senate tax conference committees will continue their work on broad-based tax relief plan. That is likely to be ready for floor debate by the end of the week. If you have any questions on any of these issues, please contact myself or Danielle at the KSCPA office. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you next week.